It's happened. They've finally done it. Epiphone have finally released a proper headstock Les Paul custom. And the kicker? It's Silverburst. Let's take a look at this bad boy. Alright guys, hope you're doing great out there today. If this is your first time here at my channel, my name is Kyle. What I do is I take all sorts of awesome high gain related guitar equipment, record it with a simple setup, and I give you the unprocessed audio on your end. But today, we're on my second channel where I like to get a little bit weird. I have no pants on right now. In all honesty, I have never done a video like this before, but I kind of felt compelled to because Epiphone have finally, after decades, released a proper Les Paul custom with the real deal Gibson headstock on it. Now, is that really a big deal in itself? No, some people it might be. I personally think that the more recent Epiphone headstock change actually looks kind of goofier than they did before. But in the past few years, it really seems like Epiphone or Gibson has, made Epiphone kind of step up the quality of the guitars that they've been putting out on the market. And I can kind of personally attest to this. I've actually got a video where I took one of the newer Silverburst Les Paul customs and completely revamped it because I bought it used and it was basically trashed, and I brought it back into not only a playable state, but after a couple upgrades, it's actually become one of my permanent guitars in my collection. I really, really dig it. So ever since having that experience on my end, I've been on the lookout for really cool Epiphone releases, stuff that I could possibly get here on the channel. Now, both of my buddies, Aggiefish and Steve Sterlacci, posted videos a couple of days ago about this new Epiphone guitar, and I was immediately intrigued for a number of reasons. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna do, I guess this is a react video if you want to call it that, but really I'm just gonna check out the specs of the guitar for the first time with you guys, and then I'm gonna look for your guys' feedback down below in the comments. Is this a guitar that you would buy yourself? Is this a guitar that you would like to see on my main channel for a full review? Because maybe I'll be able to get one from Sweetwater. I have a feeling that these are probably gonna sell pretty well though, so we'll see how long they actually last once they get into stock. So with that being said, let's go ahead and let's jump in. I actually have the Sweetwater product page pulled up here. I actually couldn't find the Epiphone product page, so I don't even know if they have like a proper launch page for it yet. Let's actually see if we can find one real quick. This guitar has been making waves though, because I've been seeing it not only on Facebook, but lots of Reddit posts and stuff like that have been popping up whenever I search for it. So people are definitely talking about this thing. All right, so here we go. We actually do have the Epiphone product page. I will accept essential cookies, although in my opinion, all cookies are essential cookies. Unless it's oatmeal raisin, those can go to hell. All right, so the first thing that jumps out other than the actual Gibson shaped headstock, $14.99 price point. That is going to immediately alienate a whole lot of people because $14.99 for a production Epiphone, that's kind of a hard pill to swallow if we're being 100% honest. Recently, Gibson has just been going further and further away from the working guitarist, full on as far as becoming a lifestyle brand, rebranding themselves as not necessarily a brand for the working musician, but a brand for the blues lawyer. And as somebody who actually likes Gibson guitars quite a bit, that's a bummer to me, man. I definitely grew up with punk rock roots, and the whole like status symbol thing is just, it's little dick stuff in my opinion. So it really seems like Gibson has been focusing most of their more economical choices down to the Epiphone line, whereas you used to have Gibsons that started as low as like $600 or $700 brand new. They were really, really stripped down, but in my opinion, those were some of the best guitars Gibson made. I actually really like the Faded series and the LPJ series from like 2013, 2014. But now that price range, they are leaving that 100% up to Epiphone to cover. So the fact that we have an Epiphone at $1,500, man, kind of crazy. To be 100% honest with you guys, if it came down to it and I had to purchase this guitar outright and I had to pay full price for it, absolutely wouldn't do it. There's no way that I would pay $1,500 for this guitar. That's just me though. Let me know about you guys. Let me know down in the comments. And is this a guitar that you would spend $1,500 on? I'm genuinely really curious to hear what the consensus on this is going to be. But let's go ahead. Let's move into this. Let's move into the description. Epiphone and Gibson custom partner to recreate Adam's 1975 What? 1979 Silverburst Les Paul Custom. Multi-platinum selling and 4-time Grammy Award winner Adam Jones from the band Tool is one of rock's most talented, sonically innovative guitarists. Now Epiphone has partnered with Gibson Custom to create a new model that pays tribute to what Adam calls one of my top favorite guitars of all time. His Silverburst 1979 Gibson Les Paul Custom. It has a 3-piece maple neck with a custom Adam Jones profile, an ebony fretboard, mahogany body with a maple cap. Finished in antique Silverburst, it also features a custom bucker pickup in the neck position and a Duncan distortion in the bridge position. Speaking to my heart, that's the pickup that I use on all of my amp demo videos. Along with CTS potentiometers and orange drop capacitors, it also has a Gibson open book headstock profile with custom artwork on the head. One thing that immediately draws me to this guitar over the other ones, though, I will say, is the artwork on the back of those other Les Paul Adam Jones ones. I know it was all because they wanted to basically make it like a limited edition type thing with limited numbers of each one. Just wasn't something that I wanted. Like, I would not be able to look at that guitar personally and take it seriously. That's just me, though. But I know quite a few other people felt that way. So now the fact that there is another version that doesn't have the goofy artwork, I can live with the artwork on the headstock because I'm pretty sure that it's like fairly subtle. Oh, it's on the back of the headstock too. Yeah, even better. We've actually got the real deal split diamond inlay here. Still got the 3 screw truss rod cover here, which means that this does not have like the, you know, standard USA style truss rod with the nut adjustment. You're still gonna have to get in there with an Allen key. They even give you a complimentary mirror. All right, it actually looks like you get a chainsaw case with it too. That's really cool. If you guys are unfamiliar with the chainsaw case, this was the case that Gibson provided with their Norland era Les Pauls and stuff. Yeah, it's definitely like a chainsaw recreation case. That's a really cool touch in my opinion. So down here on the specs, body style Les Paul, obviously, we've got a maple top, 7-ply binding on the top, and 5-ply on the back and headstock, single ply on the neck. That's interesting. We'll get into the pictures a little bit closer. Mahogany body, gloss finish. The neck, Adam Jones custom profile. One thing that Epiphone has been doing with some of their newer custom series guitars is they have actually been doing like the digital scan of the necks of the real guitars they're recreating. The one that I'm specifically talking about is the Greenie, the Kirk Hammett, now Kirk Hammett, Les Paul standard Greenie. It used to be Peter Green's, among a few other people who have owned the guitar over the years. A very, very famous guitar. They scanned that neck profile so they could basically perfectly recreate it on the production line. And I'm assuming that they've done the same thing with this. I wouldn't see why they wouldn't. So you're gonna get a neck profile on this guitar that's gonna be accurate to that actual 1979 that Adam Jones has. So that's a cool feature. Another thing that stands out, Graphtec nut. Graphtec, I mean, that's a must at this point in my opinion, especially if you're getting a guitar anywhere over that like $600 or $700 price point. Graphtec nut is going to stabilize your tuning very, very well, which with a Les Paul style guitar, especially if it's true, you're definitely gonna want that Graphtec nut. It's gonna help keep things in tune. For the joint, we've got glued in set neck long tenon. Long tenon. To see that on an actual Epiphone guitar is really, really cool. If you guys are unfamiliar with what a long tenon is, that is basically the back of the neck, the stabilizing portion of the neck that goes down inside the body where the two pieces meet. A longer tenon goes deeper inside that body and therefore gives the guitar essentially more stability. People think that it has a significant effect on tone. A lot of the older Les Pauls had the long tenon, and it's a pretty sought after feature. So for them to have that on this, really, really cool. Standard scale length, standard fret count. We got a 43mm nut width, ebony fingerboard, so that's good at least. We've got 18% nickel silver, medium frets, and mother of pearl block inlays. That's kind of interesting. I wonder if they're real mother of pearl, because if they're mother of toilet seat, that's not surprising. But if Epiphone and Gibson have actually sprung for mother of pearl inlays, like that's a pretty high quality feature. In the picture, it's kind of hard to tell, although I will say it's absolutely hilarious. If you look at the picture, we've got all sorts of like glue residue from the nut leaking down. This is really the guitar that you're going to put on your website. This is going to be the one that shows everybody the type of quality you're putting out, and you're going to have glue residue on the fretboard. Great commitment to quality, guys. Come on. All right, so I'm actually gonna move over to the Sweetwater page. I will say the fact that you get a Gibson custom bucker in the neck, really crazy, because if you guys are unfamiliar with the custom buckers, they are very, very expensive. They're like over $260 per pickup or $500 a set roughly. If you guys go back and watch my Epiphone upgrade video, the custom buckers are actually what I put in that Silverburst Epiphone Les Paul Custom. They are phenomenal sounding pickups, but they are ridiculously expensive. So to see them actually put them in an Epiphone guitar, that's pretty surprising. So this guitar also has the Epiphone lock tone tunematic bridge and tailpiece. Essentially all that means is there are small magnets in the bridge and in the tailpiece that magnetize them to the posts and the studs, and should provide, in theory, a little bit more stability. In reality, when you change your strings, your bridge and your tailpiece aren't gonna fall off the guitar if you remove all your strings at the same time. I have also found that Epiphone's hardware in general, it's just, there's a lot of play in the threads and stuff. They're not super, super tight. You want the threads on your bridge post and your tailpiece post to be nice and tight. That way you're transferring as much string vibration to the body of the guitar as possible. So if you really want a super high quality instrument, I mean, getting better bridge and tailpiece, removing the bushings, putting a higher quality piece in there, definitely something you're gonna need to do. So it kind of bums me out that they're just using the regular hardware. Let's look at the tuners as well. I haven't actually gotten a look at the tuners yet. Headstock looks great though, man. With that Epiphone logo on the Gibson headstock, it looks natural, looks fine. This particular guitar looks like it has a pretty nice dark ebony fretboard, but you can still see the glue residue on these frets here if we zoom in. Oh, this is cool. They actually did a volute on this guitar, and then they did like the old school. These are actually really accurate to the Gibson tuners at the time that they were using on this guitar. I just sold a 1980 custom that had these same tuners. The only difference is they said Gibson, you know, around this little horn on the tuner, but like the actual shape of the tuners looks to be exactly the same. So they've recreated those. Whether they're high quality or not, I don't know. Looking at the back of the guitar, we have the burst on the back. We've got the burst on the neck. The finish is like yellowed out. I mean, it looks really, really good, guys. It's a good looking guitar. That binding on the front looks really nice as well. One area where I've noticed that Epiphone lacks in fit and finish is usually around the binding, and the binding on this particular guitar looks really, really nice. And again, you know, Gibson have started doing the actual real deal maple top on their Epiphone line. Again, I don't know how you feel about the tone wood thing. I have definitely kind of come around to a different understanding over the last few years based on my own experience and not based off of any other YouTube videos or anything like that. So in reality, do I really think it's gonna change anything? No, but it's still a feature that I like to see if you're recreating a classic Les Paul. Zooming in here, we've got the little vintage pointers on these speed knobs. I think that's a good look for a Les Paul custom. I definitely dig that. And yeah, just scrolling through the page, man, I'm not gonna lie, I'm jonesing. Feel free to punch me through the camera for this guitar. Like this is a guitar that I would love to get on the channel. It's a guitar that I would definitely like to own for myself. I think it looks great. I've had really good experience with a couple of the recent newer production Epiphones that I've had. And you know, I'm a believer now that Epiphone can make a quality product. I felt like they could before as well, before all of the, not the rebranding, but the makeover that they did to the company in 2019 and kind of reintroduced their line and everything. The old ones can be good, but I think it is a little bit of a fluke, honestly. And it seemed like the materials got called into question quite a bit. The frets on those old Epiphones would wear out super fast. The wood was essentially like mystery wood. If you would open it up and look inside the cavities, the pickup cavities or the control cavities, it didn't look like mahogany that it claimed to be. Yeah, this guitar does looks like a quality piece. I would love to get one on the channel. So let me know, what are your guys' thoughts on the specs and the features of this guitar? Do you think it warrants that $1,500 price point considering we've got USA pickups in it, an expensive USA custom bucker in the neck, quality appointments like that triple layer binding that looks to be really well done. We've got the maple top, we've got the volute on the headstock, we've got the accurate Gibson headstock, mother of pearl inlays. Like there's some cool stuff going on with this guitar for sure. And as a well-known Silverburst lover and collector, this is definitely something that I personally would like to see in my collection. So leave those thoughts below. Let me know, should I try to get this? Are you gonna try to get one of these for yourself? Would you like to see a full review of it on my main channel? Do you wanna punch me in my face and try to correct my crooked nostrils? Whatever your thoughts are, I'll meet you down there to chat about it, as I always do. If you guys do end up picking up one of these guitars, I will put my affiliate links to Sweetwater and Zounds down in the description. If you guys use those links, they don't cost you anything extra, but I do get a kickback if you buy using those links, and it definitely goes a long way in helping me afford new gear for the channel and stuff, since this is what I do for a living. I would very much appreciate the support. And again, like the video. If you guys want to see more stuff like this, let me know that down in the comments too. I had fun kind of going over this. And if you guys want to hear me ramble on about stuff more, I need to know about that. Yeah, that's it. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Subscribe to my main channel, which I will also put down in the description below. Thanks so much for watching. Kyle here again. We'll see you next time. I tried to push myself away, but I'm stuck. Goodbye. Still stuck.